Hello and welcome to your reading. This is the Awakened Jen. Welcome to your daily divine forecast for Tuesday, July 29th, here on the Spiritual View. Today's energy is big. This is a pivot point, a moment where we stop glancing backwards and we start building something that lasts. The angel numbers guiding us this week are 101 and 222. 101 signals a fresh, divine aligned beginning. It's your soul's green light to start again, and this time with clarity. 222 reminds us that we are building something in sacred partnership with spirit, with others, and most importantly, with ourselves. It's the number of balance, harmony, and aligned co creation. The overall energy today is home, but not the one that you inherited. It's the one that you are consciously creating now. We're not just going back to something familiar. We're creating a space inside and out that actually feels like home, rooted, aligned, and true. And then our current astrology, we are deep in the Lionsgate portal right now, and it peaks on 8/8, but the energy is already flowing. This is the time to plant your highest intentions, not just for success, but for meaningful success. And while Lionsgate is opening the future, the retrogrades are making sure that we don't carry the old illusions with us. So here's a little breakdown of the retrograde energy right now. So we've got Pluto in Aquarius, which is collective transformation, breaking out of toxic systems, letting go of our old identities that no longer fit. Neptune in Aries, releasing illusions around self-image, seeing who we really are spiritually and boldly. Saturn in Aries, which right now Neptune and Saturn are conjunct as well. So, I mean, that's even more powerful energy. And it's about taking full responsibility for our path, defining healthy boundaries, and rebuilding from our truth. And then finally, we have Mercury in Leo, reviewing how we speak, how we lead, and how we shine, rewriting the narrative of our heart's voice. And so, this is literally speaking our truth with our full chest and meaning it. So all of this energy is asking, what does home really mean to you now that you've outgrown the illusion of safety in the old story? And so, I mean, that's what we're doing right now. That's the whole energy that I was feeling. Is just, it's like we are redefining what home even means for us now, because we had this one definition that was kind of given to us by all of our programming, our ancestry, and our lineage and all of that. But now then we've worked through all of that. We've rised above, and we've raised our own consciousness to what is even true, to the truth of the situation, and what we even desire, what is true and aligned for us. And so now then we get to go in and consciously create these homes that are actually meant for us, that are like attuned for us, that are like meant to be completely aligned with us. All right, so before we get too far into this, I want us to go ahead and do the invocation to call in the spirit team. So if you'll close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths with me. All right, breathe in. That's 1. Breathe in. That's 2. Breathe in. That's 3. I now call in the council of the awakened flame, a divine collective of angels, archangels, ascended masters, our higher selves, guardian angels, star family, and galactic light beings to please enter this present space and time. I call upon Archangel Michael to place a bubble of protection around us. Only beings of the highest vibration of pure love and light may enter in. I open myself now as a clear, surrendered channel. May the messages that come through serve the highest good of all, activating healing, alignment, and awakening for every soul who receives them. So be it. All right, so for this reading, I have used the Soul Coaching Oracle, the Mermaid Tarot, and the Art of Manifestation Oracle. And so we are starting it off with the soul coaching oracle to tell us what our current situation is. And we got the card focus. And this is a 22 card. So we begin the theme of focus. This is the master builder number 22. You already have the wisdom, the structure, and the tools. Spirit is saying, stay focused. You already know where this is going, but only if you keep your energy pointed towards the future. This isn't about the past anymore. Whatever we put our attention on gains power. So let's put it on what we're actually trying to build. And so, I mean, there was a time and place for us to look at and review, what happened, like to see, kind of learn from it, gain from it. And like, I think I was even talking about this last week, that there was still like treasure to be found. No, I'm not. It was in a reading I've done recently. There's still treasure to be found in the past. But I think that like now that we pulled the treasure out, now it's about integrating it and seeing where we can move forward with it. But it's not about staying stuck to the past anymore. So we don't need to put our attention back into the past anymore. We need to look towards where we're going. And so like, you really need to think of it. It's almost like, the manifestation that we're talking about here is like an algorithm, like a social media algorithm. And so it's like the more that you interact with something, the more that you pay attention to something, the more that you're going to see it. And so it doesn't even matter like what kind of attention that you give to that algorithm, if it's good or bad or, whatever. If you're giving it any attention at all, you're telling the algorithm, hey, this is important, so I want to see more of this. That's the same way that our manifestations work as well. And so it's like, whatever you're focused on, wherever your focus is, that's what you're going to see more of. And so if you're still focused so much on the past and like still like, why didn't that work? And what can I do to fix? Like, if you're still there, there's no way that you're able to move forward into the future. And so like, you're being asked to stop looking back and start looking right here, right where you're at, not even so far ahead, right here. What is right in front of you right now? Because this is what you have to build with. We went back to the past with all of the karmic work that we were doing, the karma clearing that we were doing. But now then it's like we've pulled out the jewels, the treasure. It's now time to integrate it for what right in front of us right now. We're not worried about what we have left behind. Okay. So the next card came from the Mermaid Tarot. And so why is this happening? And we have the Five of Cups. And so this is a reality check moment. The emotional fog is lifting and we're seeing what we lost. Oh no. The reality. Okay. The emotional fog is lifting. And we're seeing that what we lost was never actually solid to begin with. And so even if you wanted to go back, it wouldn't be the same. You see it too clearly now. The illusion is gone, and the grief isn't just about what ended. It's about realizing it wasn't ever what you thought it was to begin with. And so this is like the ultimate reality check moment. It's like you're sitting in, the rubble, but like the fog has cleared. And so you're seeing this as clearly as you have ever seen it. And what you're seeing is, this wasn't what I thought it was. This, like, what I'm grieving wasn't even what I thought it was to begin with. And so like there's a different kind of grief that comes with that. It's just kind of like releasing just the reality that you thought you were living in. And this comes a lot with any type of betrayal trauma, is like it shifts your reality perspective so much that it's like you don't know what's real anymore. Like you don't even know what you're grieving anymore, because it's like the thing that you were grieving didn't even exist. And it's like there's just this weird process. And I've had a weird grieving of that kind of thing. Like a weird grieving in that kind of way was when I got told twice at two different ultrasounds that I was going to have a daughter. And then like I find out at the next one that it's actually not a daughter. And so I had already picked names. I'd already told everyone. And at this point I had two boys and this would have been my first daughter. So I was like really excited about this, but I didn't actually care, what I was getting. It was just, I had been told. And so like I lived as if this was my reality. Well, when it shifted, it was the weirdest type of grief that nobody could understand. It was just like I had to go through this alone because nobody could understand that I was grieving a baby that never actually existed while still loving and adoring the baby that was and excited about the baby that was. I had built this whole reality around this baby that didn't actually exist. And so there was a grieving process over just that. And that's the same type of grieving that I'm feeling about this. It's like there's no chance for you to even be able to go back to the thing that you're grieving because you're realizing, oh, whoa, that didn't even exist. What I thought it was not the reality. Someone was working really hard to distort the reality. I wasn't getting the full truth in that moment. And that's why you're where you're at now. But that's an added it's an added layer of grief that you're processing through. It's just like you can't even go back because what you thought you were going back to doesn't actually exist at all. It was an illusion, it was a distortion, and it was a lie. Okay, so the next card is what's the opportunity? And I pulled the Ace of Pentacles, but then I also clarified it with the Nine of Cups. And so this is a blessing in disguise. Spirit is handing you a new opportunity, something stable, abundant, and emotionally aligned. The Ace of Pentacles is the seed, and the Nine of Cups is the wish fulfilled. This is a divinely aligned gift, but we only receive it when we stop clinging to what's already past. And so this opportunity that is coming in, it is a gift from God. This is something that could not have happened if you had not gone through what you had already gone through. What you went through actually prepared you to be ready for this opportunity that's coming in. And this is something that you never even imagined was possible. It's greater than your biggest dreams. That's where this card is coming in and kind of showing you this is how big this wish fulfillment is for you. And it's like you didn't even know you needed this. You didn't even know you wanted this. You didn't even know this was available. And it wasn't available while you were still in that old timeline, that old situation, the one that you're the past situation that we're letting go of, the one that wasn't actually real. It was through what you learned from that. It was through going through that prepared you to be able to even hold and, bring in this opportunity at all. And so it is a blessing in disguise. It's your reward. And it's like, okay, I'm feeling in this moment, it's like the Job energy. So if you know the story of Job from the Bible, he went through it and it wasn't for anything that was his own fault at all. It was, he was being tested. Satan asked God if he could test Job, because Job was so devoted to God, and he's like, yeah, I bet he wouldn't be devoted if he didn't, have blessings all over his life. And God's like, well, try him and see what happens. And so then he hits him with everything, and he loses everything, his children, his home, his livestock. He did not lose his wife, though. There's an interesting piece of that story, but he lost everything through that, and still he would not curse God. He would not say that God had done something horrible to him. This is life. This is just the way of life. I don't think this is part of that story, but it's like the Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I mean, he just took it for what it was, that we all go through stuff, and this is my turn to go through stuff. And so he didn't take it out on anything. He just accepted it for what it was. And because of the way that he maintained himself through that. And so this is the key for you too. It's the way that you went through that. It's the way that you held yourself. That's what was gained. That was what you learned. That was the lesson. That's what you had to build in yourself to be able to hold this opportunity that's coming in, is because of the way he held himself. He was blessed tenfold from there, in which, I know, if you take all my children, there's no replacing my children. There's no replacing, that type of, but he was given back even greater than what was taken from him. And that's the whole point here, is that because of the way you handled yourself through this situation that you've already been through, that's what's bringing this blessing into you. That's the frequency that was able to call it in. You held the frequency, of just who you are, of your own self. You held it all the way through that, so that now then you're aligned with these blessings to come in. Okay, so what is blocking us? We have the Five of Wands, which this is internal conflict, the kind that comes from old trauma responses and guilt patterns. There's a belief running here, something like, if I walk away, I'm doing to them what I never wanted done to me. And that belief is noble, but it's not aligned with truth, and it's what's keeping you stuck. And so this is the part that you're having to work on the hardest. This is like the last piece of the connection that's trying to, come through, is like there's a level of guilt that you're carrying about moving forward and not bringing this person with you. It's like you care so much because you've been through, betrayal. You've been through the fire. You've been through the fire. And so you know what it feels like to go through all of these hard situations, especially by yourself. And it's like, you just wanted somebody to not give up on you. You just wanted somebody to see you, see your core of you, and not ever give up on you. And so it's like, because that's what you want so bad, and we hear this, be the thing that you want to see in the world. It's like, you took that so literal that you don't know how to give up on other people. And it's not about giving up on them. It's about giving them the opportunity to even make that decision, not trying to force them to make any kind of decisions, letting them just be where they're at and letting them make the decisions that are aligned with them in the moment that they're at. You can guide them with information. But it's like the minute that you become attached to what they do with it, that's where you're overstepping boundaries there. That's where you're like, that's not what's yours anymore. And so I know that you have probably given this person, this situation, plenty of time to know that they are not lined up with you, that you are trying to move forward. You do not want to be stuck in this old dynamic that, was really holding you back. I am positive you've had those conversations. So you're not leaving them. They know where you're going. They know what you were doing. You've told them the whole time. So you can let go of any of that guilt. That's not yours. It is not your responsibility to make sure that these people come with you. You let them know what your plans are. You let them know where you're going. You let them know they're invited. But from there, whatever they do with that is their free will choice to do. And it is not for you, to like that's where the judgment gets removed. Once you've given them the opportunity and the offer, what they do with it is for them. That is no longer your concern or your responsibility. Okay. So the last card we pulled from the Art of Manifestation Oracle, and we have Worth the Wait. And this is a 65 card, which goes to 11. And so this is confirmation. You are on the path. You didn't miss it. You didn't mess up. What's meant for you will never pass you by. Even if it's taking longer than you thought, it's still coming. And not just coming, it's going to be better than you imagined. Trust the divine delays. They're actually divine design. And so this may have taken a lot longer for you to get through, and even setting up with this new home life and rebuilding yourself, because this feels like a complete rebuild from the ground up. This may take longer than what you hope it would, especially if you've been through the fire for any amount of time at all. Like, you're ready for the relief already, you're ready to see the other side, but it's like, it's going to be so much better. Like, once you get there, you're going to understand why everything happened the way that it happened. The delays are going to make sense. You're going to know, no, this was preparing me. This was giving me something else, character development, something else I needed to be able to make sure that once this was solidly, in place in my life, that I would be able to maintain it. I would be able to hold it. I would be able to, like I said, it's holding the frequency of being able to call this in, and not just call it in, but now keep it, retain it, and grow it. It's like there's multiple parts of this manifestation process, and that it's like the ultimate trust. Like, you've got to have the ultimate level of trust of just like, that you've done the work, that you're moving, you're in alignment. And that's all you can do is just make sure that you're in alignment. And once you're in alignment, we're taking like whatever's coming at us and we're knowing that there's a purpose for it being on our path. And that once we get to that other side, we're going to understand. It's going to all make sense. And it will have been worth all of the effort, all of the energy, all the time, just all of it. So I'm going to close this out with this question. So if nothing from the past could hold you back, what kind of home would you build now? And not just a physical home, but an energetic one, a life that feels truly like home. So if this message has resonated, I'd love for you to like, comment, or share with someone else who might need this today. And I want to remind that I do offer private readings. You can find more information about that down in the description box below. This is just one of the features that we have here on the Spiritual View, which the Spiritual View, if you are new, is a collective of spiritually gifted women who use a range of modalities to bring messages of guidance for the collective. We have tarot, astrology, mediumship, Akashic records, channeling, and we bring this to you every single day of the week with our daily videos. And then we bring together the whole group for our Thursday night live, and we pull cards for our viewers live. It's always a lot of fun, and we invite you to be a part of everything that we have going on. So make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. You hit the bell for notifications so that you'll be notified every time a new video goes out. So other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.